A lot of people are kind of just watching stuff that they hate and then complaining about it. Hey, guess what? If you don't like it, don't fucking watch it. Don't force yourself to watch it just because your whole character online is ranting about how bad WWE is. The whole shock jock, the whole JD from NY bullshit, the whole, the booking, they don't know what they're doing. Creative has the heads up their asses. That whole deal, the whole shock jock thing is just so, like, boring. It's predictable.
The instant I saw this Triton, I bursted out laughing. He is like probably close to 7 foot tall. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has this monster steroid look, but I was distracted by his incredibly small head. Did you notice that?
Dude, I was trying to put my finger on what was wrong with his body, but you just nailed it. We have the match that I was probably looking forward to most on this show. Chronic versus Undertaker and Kane.
You can just imagine in WCW Creative in 2000, the youth of today, bro, they smoke weed, bro. So, do you know, we've got them two guys, bro. We've got Crush, we've got Adam Bomb, bro. What about Chronic? Chronic's a strain of weed, bro. It's like, fuck off, Russo.
When I knew Fall Brawl 1994 was coming up in my timeline, I looked at the card and I knew nothing about anything that happened. However, the one thing I knew about this show was that Colonel Parker shits his pants in this match. I think they did a good job at hiding it, or I guess maybe Colonel Parker was just on the ground the whole time.
Yeah.
At some point, he just diarrheas in his white pants.
Well, I heard about it, but I didn't see it myself.
I was disappointed. I was expecting just a brown stain in the ring or something. So you got these assholes on Twitter saying that they did this purely to copy AEW. But anybody with common sense can kind of figure out. Somebody sees a golf cart and like, maybe I can run you over with that golf cart. And be like, yeah, that'd be cool. That's the extent of it.
Malenko essentially chloroformed Taz with the intent of finding out where he put his penis. I will say this. I did notice during this match as Taz was stretching and getting ready, he'd do his squats, and you just see his balls dangling between his leg. Perfect little package there.
That's what his nickname should have been.
The perfect little package, Taz.
Do you recall the finish of this match?
So it's like if you took AJ Styles, his spiral tap.
Yeah.
But like you're like trying to fill out paperwork while you were trying to do a spiral tap. You know what I mean? Like they called it the infrared.
Yeah.
But they've called it the red alert before. I think they just think of a red pun in the moment and just call it that.
The red rocket.
You beat me to it.
The slow-mo when he did the hip toss, how he like gradually held the guy's head.
Yeah.
And kind of like rolled him over. I'm like, they practice this. All of it looked too perfect. Like,
well, let me ask you, do you think they practice the conga line?
I've been to a couple indie shows where that's broke out like out of nowhere, and it's like 200 people in the line. Like,
well, we're not going to just glaze over this. You said you've been a part of several conga lines.
By that time, I've already had about 8 Pabst Blue Ribbons, so sky's the limit after that.
Career versus career.
So we got Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair.
Woo! Sorry, I had to
Woo, indeed. So we have Mr. T is a special guest referee because why wouldn't he? The cage lowers, tilted almost completely sideways.
We're gonna make it work.
Fuck it, just hang it up there.
Hang
Don't
it.
measure nothing.
If it falls, we got TNT money.
With a mysterious powder. And then so Petey Williams has it in his hand and he gets it knocked into his eyes. Our third blind person of the night, looking around, trying to find his opponent. And then he touches somebody, but he's touching his own partner.
What? No
What?
way. How did that happen? Who's this guy I'm touching right now, huh?
Can we get one episode without Art Donovan?
Could we, if we can go back time and get King of the Ring without Art Donovan, that's the only way I'm not doing Art Donovan impressions.
The walls of Jericho. I think he's
Love
going to
that.
fucking tap out clean. I'm just going into it. I'm like, yeah, come on, Jericho. You can do it. I really got into this. And fucking Stephanie McMahon comes out. I thought my brain just got hit over the head with a frying pan.
Stephanie, Christ. She just gets worse the more I watch her. Bob Backlund locks in the chicken wing on Brett for 8 fucking minutes. I was like, this
Yeah, I know.
is
It's a long time, isn't it? Imagine laying there on the mat for 8 minutes, just sort of hugging one of your work colleagues.
Backlund breathing in your ear.
Yeah. Rubbing his little bob up
his
against
groin
you.
on your ass.
Brother-in-law's prattling around outside. Your mum's there just crying, and there's Bob Backlund dry humping you.
Count about 30 plus seconds of the hanging vertical suplex.
Yes.
I thought that was a great spot. As simple as the spot is, it still makes, for me, I always go back to British Bulldog as a child.
Right,
That's
yes.
holding whoever he could up for. I could sit here for 20 minutes. Keep the bastard up in the air. I'd stay here for
You
20
guys,
minutes.
y'all over there love that shit, right? It's like doing a sharpshooter in Canada. It's like an easy pop. Kevin gives Dave Sullivan a pile driver as Dave Sullivan's pants are halfway down his legs. And then Kevin Sullivan whips him with his own Santa belt.
That probably scarred me as a child.
No, I knew immediately it wasn't Santa. I just thought it was some drunk dude dressed as Santa.
It was.
He probably was.
CM Punk.
Oh my God.
Looking like Fred Durst in this bitch.
Looking like Fred Durst. Yo,
Ooh,
give me something
man.
to break, bro. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I feel like this segment, like if CM Punk looked back to this segment, because he makes his debut in Ring of Honor, and he probably was like regretting this shit because he just fucking hates wrestling.
Right. Bad Bunny, he didn't seem out of place. He seemed like he was very confident and he knew what he was doing. And in this match, like I said, he sold. He held the tag rope. To see Bad Bunny have all of these nuanced things down was amazing to see.
I think it would have been much more successful if they tried to play it closer to the truth of three promotions vying for, like WWF, ECW, and WCW. And
the biggest thing of the invasion is they had no interest in building up those new people that came in. Because guys like yourself, guys like Sean O'Hare, Chuck Palumbo, these like really talented guys, but for whatever reason, like you yourself were a great talker in ECW, but I felt like you never got promo time.
Nope.
Just a handful of times, you know?
Yeah.
But I have to acknowledge Todd Pettengill just trying to fuck Pam Anderson throughout the entire show. But one of my favorite parts of the show was Jerry Lawler. He had the, I forget what it's called, but it was like, in the football when they draw the arrows and stuff. But they revisit Pam Anderson arriving. She gets out of the car. Jerry Lawler draws his face on it, kissing Pam Anderson. So he's saying that he's going to fuck Pam Anderson later after Todd Pettengill gets done with her.
I can't imagine how the NFL wasted this technology to draw plays and highlight, like, instead of drawing your X's and O's and routes and shit, like, why not just draw a giant dick on the TV?
Everybody's favorite legend.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Daniels is there, whatever. But we have Shocker from the McDonald's commercial. Did you know that?
Commercial. Yeah, I don't care if it was a Burger King commercial. It was it was Taco Bell. The guy sucks. they make him like his gimmick is that he's so handsome and all this shit. And originally, and I know exactly what you're talking about when he took off the mask and today's like he's from the McDonald's commercial. I don't care. What
Nobody cares. Nobody knows who this fucking guy is.
The other story that I picked up from this match was Cactus Jack must have DDT'd Sandman on the cement like 5 times in this match.
They're just hitting each other really hard with weapons and nobody's selling anything. But it's like Sandman, he pins Cactus Jack a few times in this match. But every time he pins him, he breaks up the count after.
I forgot about
like, what? So why bother pinning him, you asshole? And Joey Styles, even on commentary, he's like, I think Sandman forgot the rules. I was like, yeah, no shit.
Madman Manson personally is one of the funniest wrestlers I've ever met in my life, but I've never been a fan of Grado. So I wasn't happy to see a Grado win here.
It was a dream match, some may say.
The entrance was messed up as well, wasn't it? Because it was the Madonna entrance scheme. And I know they had legal issues with that.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What's Madonna gonna do? Madonna versus Grado. That's the match we all need.
Yeah, right.
It's basically, so you thought the last match had some good stipulations. Check out this. If Daniels wins, Doug Williams can no longer shake hands with people in Ring of Honor. I know. Just take a seat. It's fine.
Heresy.
It's fine. We're all fine. If Doug Williams wins, Christopher Daniels must always shake hands with his opponents.
I
So
love
lots.
that outside the confines of Ring of Honor, this sounds insane.
Right. So the story here is that Dave Sullivan loves Hulk Hogan. Kevin Sullivan does not love Hulk Hogan.
So this match is just putting Hogan over?
Literally, dude, literally.
And this is why Bad Butcher was out there?
I don't really know what their beef is, but there's a beef cake for sure, huh? We're having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun.
We're all having
I like
fun.
that. I see what you did there.
These rankings are graded against the 2001 scale. Like if we just had pay-per-views, let's say like pay-per-views of the 2000s, right? All of these shows would probably be in the top 2 tiers. But Booker T grabs the WWF title, hits Austin in the back of the head with it. Jericho covers Austin. Earl Hebner's makes the count. 1, 2, 3. Chris Jericho.
Last count.
Oh, that slow Earl Hebner count. Iconic.
It's like, oh my God, this can't be happening.
That
Not
three
this
took
way.
Forever,
Not this
man.
way.
Yeah, not this way. Damn it, not this way. Oh, son of a bitch.
The one Billy Gunn match or whatever their names are in TNA.
The Outlaw. He's
Okay.
I don't know who this Billy Gunn character you're talking about is. This
Is
the
this
Outlaw.
before or after the Voodoo Kid Mafia?
This is before.
So
So-
then he turns to Monty Sop or whatever his name is. So Kip James or whatever.
He
the
has a
hell
lot of, so I think he's Kip James and then he's Kip Sop.
Isn't his
Oh,
real
this-
name Monty Sop? What an asshole. Monty Sop.
If I got to the building and they were like, the main event is Cactus Jack against DC Drake, I would have been like, who the fuck is DC Drake?
Right.
I know he was a guy who wrestled in like the East Coast in Pennsylvania, and he may
Yeah.
have won like a tri-state independent wrestling title that meant cost as much as his glass right
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
I know very little about DC Drake.
His Wikipedia is Slim Pickens. It's literally, he's the guy that wrestled in Philadelphia and wrestled Cactus Jack once.
The Fire Thunder Driver off the second
Ooh,
rope from Monster
Mac, yep. That was
God.
brutal. Dude, some of the stuff these guys were doing, like this match, you're not seeing this kind of stuff anywhere else. In America, for sure, you're not seeing this anywhere else.
SAT hit the Spanish Fly. It's cool that it's still called the Spanish Fly because they invented it, the SAT, the Spanish Announce Team, and that's why it's called that.
Right.
And it's what I like about it in this match though is when they hit it, they sell their stomachs.
Yes.
Like it. I'm like, oh.
Flair's not in the match. He's not in WCW at this time.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Another masked man comes out. He comes out with a chair. He's acting like he's going to hit Hogan with it. But by God, he turns on Flair and Vader. And then he hits Flair. He hits Vader. Takes off his mask. It's Macho Man.
Oh my god, it's Macho Man.
Scooby-Doo ass bullshit. Takes off his...
For me, Rampage Brown's the best UK heavyweight.
Yeah.
And he's outstanding. He was actually signed to WWE for, I don't know how long he was there, but he was at FCW when that was the development.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And that pile driver is quite nasty.
Yeah.
I've been on the receiving end a few times.
Have you?
In fact, the last time I wrestled him, after he beat me with it, he then picked me up and did it several more times. Just because the crowd wanted him to.
Jericho wins using every single heel trope that there is in existence in wrestling.
All at once in one of the most unnecessarily convoluted endings of all time. But if you're going to beat The Rock, you're going to need, The Rock here, he just has a PhD in trash talk from the University of Miami. I don't know what his actual degree is.
It's probably that. I think it's in knowing your role and shutting your mouth, I think, is what his bachelor's is.
Maybe it's maybe with a minor in Poontang Pie. Who knows?
Oh, okay. BG James finally comes out. Kip James grabs the mic and he does the old, I got 2 words for you. But it's not suck it. It's my brother. And he points at, did you like that?
TNA 05, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Kip James.
Man, it's got everything, unfortunately. But and I've never seen this show before. And I'm watching the show and I'm looking at my notes. I have so few notes because nothing fucking happened. But regardless, I'm confident we could have a 10-hour podcast on just the bullshit that happened. The matches were completely secondary.
Celebrities. That was it. We had celebrities. Audio issues. Like, the audio issues were the best. Well, like, we had Todd Pettingill and the backstage guys. They were trying their best. But the audio issues were the best. Tell him, Todd!
Sandman gets low blowed with a Singapore cane. Gets rolled up.
Ow!
I would hate that, dude. Dig it into your scrotum. What do you think Sandman's penis looks like at this point?
Shredded, probably like herpesifilated from all those pool room hustles and hoochies.
I don't think
that
that's
he
a
was
word.
banging. At the end of the match, though, how hilarious was it? Sandman was laid out in the fucking ring, beat the fuck up, and then he's just like finds another cigarette and lights it.
But you also got Joey Matthews in there, who is like a few years older than them, but he's like the old uncle that's like trying to be hello fellow kids, like that kind of deal.
Right. They act like he was like 40 years old. He was probably 23, 24.
Oh yeah. Well, the great thing about this match is you have all these guys flying around, but then Joey Matthews will just grab a headlock on a guy.
Literally,
just will start booing.
Straight rest hold and shit out of nowhere after they just did a fucking crash on both sides of the ring for what trash this was. It was actually decent psychology.
It's a Thunder Bastard match.
Okay. No, I'm just like shaking my head because it's like I'm like saying like you get to be the Thunder Bastard. I'm like, oh, okay, that means do I get pegged by somebody? Like what?
I think so.
Yeah.
They didn't make that clear, but so it's essentially the rules of the match. It's an 8-man match, and it's essentially Aztec warfare. Hogan had a promo where he was talking about his new tricep vein. Like, it was shit like that.
He said, let me smell that Slim Jim breath. And then Macho Man breathes in his face. What the fuck are we watching?
Don't worry, you don't know how many Slim Jims Macho has been snapping into, dude.
Yes. What the fuck?
I love The Undertaker in this era.
Yeah, dude.
Opening up like a whole different level of charisma.
I mean, how do you transition out of the greatest character of all time? Like, come on. Like, that's tough. But Mark being one of the greatest of all time, he can do that, and that's why it's so good.
Yeah.
I just called him Mark, which is kind of weird. But
what a Mark you are, huh?
Mark Calloway. I know all the names, damn it.
This guy's a wrestling fan, so what do you think of his match with Dwayne here, huh?
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn versus Sean Waltman.
Incredible to think that just 1 year removed from that terrible, terrible porno with China, X-Pac comes back to wrestling. Yeah.
I like that's your main takeaway.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Not only is it, but you know the year. What month was it?
I don't know. It was 2004.
Don't pretend like you don't know the day. Don't lie to me, Franklin. It's the leader of the Los Boricuas debuting here. But
Razor's promo afterwards going like, I didn't even recognize you, man. This guy had my back in Puerto Rico and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he's like putting this guy over.
Yeah. One of the biggest superstars in the Caribbean, you know?
Why do you sound like Art Donovan? Who's this Puerto Rican guy? Huh?
Come on.
But speaking of eating shaving cream off someone's hairy ass, Hack Myers shows up in this match.
He sure does. So the match happens. So Mikey Whipwreck wins, but this causes Raven to get in there and attacks Mikey right after the bell. And then Hack, the Shah of ECW, of course, gets in there. Crowd goes wild.
I don't understand how the fact that he's so over. He's not part of my ECW. Like, he's not one of the ECW originals. He was never ECW champion. Like, this is the most over guy in the fucking company right now.
And Havoc falls off the balcony, and then Ospreay follows us up, does a moonsault off the balcony onto everybody. Like, and you said you were there for this, right?
I told you previously that my jaw dropped at the fact that I saw a promo. So to see this, I was like, yeah, it was the pandemonium that was happening on the screen captured exactly what it was like being there live. I was underneath it, which was amazing.
Did you catch him?
No. I'm a massive Miz fan, so I just left it.
I come back up to him. His exact words were, "Don't you got a blade?" He said it just like that. Well, I just threw away my spare, right? And seemed like a good idea at the time, but very calmly I said, "Sir, how about you just take your fork and working around in my cut a little bit. Which
How could this possibly end badly?
But I've done that with people a million times. You work it a little bit. I'm not saying butcher me like a fish or anything like that.
That quite literally is his name, the Butcher. So I feel like you were just asking for it.
I should have, because that's what he did.
This is the only Sgt Craig Pittman match I've ever seen in my life. Can you describe him for the people?
I would say WCW's failed version of Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay, yeah.
They tried to make him serious, but I think he was just a bit too goofy.
He had a bit of like a George the Animal Steel vibe to him.
Yeah, there we go.
This match felt like a 1995 UFC match, like when there was no weight classes and no gloves. Like you'd have a guy in a karate gi versus a guy that fought in a bar once and you'd throw in a cage. Like that.
I never understood Sandman. He comes to the ring, right, in a t-shirt, in the American flag sweats. He's got a cigarette. He's got a beer.
Yes.
So I think maybe that's the level of relatability, because he's not particularly thrilling to watch. He's not.
I take umbrage with that. I mean, he's doing all sorts of lucha libre in this match. Hurdling over the barricade. He's like almost an athlete here. Then Petey Williams comes out, but for some fucking reason they play Abyss's music. Did you catch that?
Yeah, TNA Impact has a tendency to do things like that. Like I got Bound for Glory. Steve Macklin came out, and the nameplate said Trey Miguel.
Yeah, I saw that. The circus evil music of Abyss, and you have little old Petey coming out. It's like,
and the crowd is confused as all hell.
Yeah, they're chanting for Abyss.
Yeah.
It's great. The music played the whole fucking his entrance. Like what? But my main takeaway of this whole show, I mean, yeah, you and Styx, whatever, you retired, whatever. But they finally got rid of the staff, and they got a goddamn title belt finally, a really good looking one too. So
beautiful. That belt is, was and still is one of the most beautiful titles.
I agree.
So well crafted. I got up close and personal with that belt many times. No, wait, that sounds wrong.
Like the match should have been Triple H versus Stephanie McMahon. To be honest. Exactly. Because that's what the majority of the build was. Jericho was like definitely an afterthought. It was like,
but you see how current, you see how much it's like in pattern with today's wrestling. Jericho as an afterthought. I mean, it's just like today.
But yeah, then Jericho. He also runs over Triple H's dog on a Raw, which is a thing. That's
Wait,
a real.
What?
No, all right, so Triple H and Stefan, he doesn't kill the dog. He breaks his leg or something.
The first person I ever saw do the Canadian Destroyer wasn't Petey Williams. It was Quiet Storm. I'm not saying that Petey Williams wasn't doing it before he did it on TV, but Quiet Storm, he was hitting it way before Petey Williams, and he never got the props.
Well, hey, from now on, whenever I see the Canadian Destroyer now, I'm gonna call it the Quiet Destroyer, whatever he called it.
the Quiet Destroyer, yeah.
I'm not even gonna. Yeah.
Actually, we all would pop because whenever he would hit the Storm Cradle Driver, if you know anything about Quiet Storm, the reason why he's called Quiet Storm is because he's very quiet, and whenever he would hit the Storm Cradle Driver.
That always pops me.
You have a roster here of all these people who either not in the tournament or eliminated in the first round. I'm gutted we didn't get King Mantar. Just what
Mantar, dude, Mantar is such like a fever dream because he debuts without his mask, by the way. He just debuts. He's just this dude with weird paint and weird hair and whatever. And then he just starts losing. Immediately, what are we doing here with this guy? It's the ticked off Texan.
with the tramp stamp tattoo that he still has at the tender age of 45 in 2021.
Oh my God.
Fucking gods. Yeah, so Lance Hoyt here.
I tweet for everybody who used to watch Lance Archer back in TNA in his days, though. This guy's still going at it, putting on bangers.
He's better than he is here, I would argue.
Much better. Better than he was in ECW, whatever.
I was a big Lance Archer guy. Not everybody needs a nickname. Oh, and hey, it's Toni Storm, the wild child of the 80s. Wow, what a move by Toni Storm, the wild child of the 80s. Holy fuck, just let her be what she's been. we get who she is. You don't need to force a t-shirt.